What if I told you that right now, in this very moment, there are countless other versions of you living entirely different lives? That somewhere, in a dimension just beyond your perception, there's a version of you who made that choice you've always regretted, and is thriving because of it. And what if the ancient sages of India knew this thousands of years before quantum physics even had a name for it? Today, we're going to explore one of the most mind-bending questions in both science and spirituality: the multiverse. We'll dive into what the ancient Vedas and Upanishads say about multiple dimensions, parallel realities, and the nature of consciousness itself. Then we'll connect it to cutting-edge physics because science is finally catching up to what mystics have been saying all along. By the end of this video, you may never see yourself or your choices the same way again. If you're ready to explore the unknown, hit that subscribe button and join us on this journey. Let's start with a question that haunts the modern American mind. Is this it? You wake up, go to work, scroll through social media, pay your bills, and do it all over again. In a culture obsessed with achievement, the hustle, the grind, the next big thing, there's a growing sense that something is missing. That maybe, just maybe, there's more to this existence than the 9 to 5. But here's where it gets interesting. What if that feeling is actually a sign that you're sensing something real? In the last few decades, physicists have been wrestling with a concept that sounds like it came straight out of a sci-fi movie: the multiverse. The idea that our universe is just one bubble in an infinite foam of universes, each with its own laws of physics, its own timeline, its own version of events. Dr. Brian Greene, a renowned physicist at Columbia University, has popularized the idea that our universe might be just one of many, each with its own version of everything, including you. Michio Kaku has also explored how string theory naturally leads to a multiverse of higher dimensions. But here's the part that will blow your mind. The concept of multiple dimensions and parallel realities isn't new at all. It's been sitting in the ancient text of India for thousands of years, waiting for science to catch up. Recent studies at institutions like Princeton and Stanford have been probing the nature of consciousness itself, asking questions like, if reality is interconnected on a quantum level, what does that mean for our individual identity? What if the you that you think you are is just one expression of something much, much larger? This isn't just philosophy. This is a question that touches every aspect of your life, your decisions, your regrets, your purpose, and your deepest fears about death. Now, let's take a step back, thousands of years back, to the forests of ancient India, where sages sat in meditation and contemplated the nature of reality. The Upanishads, which form the philosophical core of the Vedas, start with a radical statement, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, which translates to, all this is verily Brahman. This means the entire universe, everything you see, touch, and experience, is nothing but a single unified consciousness, called Brahman. But here's where it gets fascinating. The ancient sages didn't just say, everything is one and leave it there. They explored how this one consciousness expresses itself in infinite diversity. They called this play of multiplicity, Maya. Think of it like this. Imagine a single actor who walks onto a stage and plays every single character in a play. The actor is one, but the characters are many. Your life, my life, every life that ever existed, they're all roles being played by the same underlying consciousness. The Upanishads describe this as the interplay between two principles, Vidya and Avidya, knowledge and ignorance. Vidya is the awareness of unity, the understanding that we are all one. Avidya is the illusion of separateness, the feeling that you are just you, isolated in a body, separate from everyone else. Sri Aurobindo, one of India's greatest modern philosophers, explained that these two are not enemies, but partners in the cosmic dance. He wrote that the consciousness of unity, Vidya, and the consciousness of multiplicity, Avidya, are the two aspects of the Maya, the formative self-conception of the eternal. Now, here's where we connect this to the multiverse. The Upanishads teach that Brahman is infinite and unbound by limitation. If consciousness is truly infinite, why would it limit itself to just one reality? Why would it create just one version of events, one timeline, one set of possibilities? In the ancient worldview, the universe is not a single physical reality, it's a multiverse of consciousness, a vast cosmic theater where the same soul, Atman, plays multiple roles, experiences multiple lives, and in some interpretations even lives out multiple versions of the same life. Think of your soul as a unique digital signature, a piece of code that exists on a cosmic hard drive. Your current life, your body, your personality, your struggles, that's just one file folder on that hard drive. But there are other folders. There are versions of you that made different choices, faced different challenges, and learned different lessons. This isn't just poetic metaphor. The Mandukya Upanishad describes consciousness as having four states: waking, dreaming, deep sleep, and a fourth state called Turiya, which is pure consciousness beyond all limitation. This is akin to being aware of the entire hard drive, not just one file. As one analysis of the Upanishads explains, the soul experiences multiple births and deaths, and the physical world is a projection, not real in the ultimate sense. This doesn't mean the world is an illusion in the sense of not existing. It means the world as we perceive it, through our limited human senses, is just one slice of a much larger multi-dimensional reality. So when you feel that sense of, is this it? That's actually your soul remembering that there's more. That feeling is a signal from your higher self telling you that the path you're on is just one of many. Now, let's bring this into the 21st century, because guess what? Modern physics is starting to say the exact same thing. Let's start with quantum mechanics. You've probably heard of the double-slit experiment, right? It's the famous experiment where particles behave like waves when we're not looking at them, but like solid particles when we are. This has led physicists to realize that consciousness might actually play a role in creating reality. The Vedantic concept of Maya, the idea that reality is a kind of projection or illusion, finds a surprising parallel in the observer effect in quantum physics. As one paper in a peer-reviewed journal noted, the Drishti Shrishti Vada of Vedanta states that observation leads to creation, which is perfectly consistent with the quantum Zeno effect, where a quantum state can be steered by observation alone. In other words, your awareness, your consciousness, isn't just a passive observer of reality. It's an active participant in shaping it. Now let's talk about the multiverse itself. In physics, there are several theories that point toward multiple dimensions and parallel universes. String theory, for example, suggests that our universe is just a 3D brain floating in a higher dimensional bulk space. In this model, there could be an infinite number of universes, each with its own laws of physics. Then there's the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, proposed by Hugh Everett in 1957. This theory suggests that every time a quantum event occurs with multiple possible outcomes, the universe branches. Every possibility becomes real in some branch of the universe. So if you're faced with a choice, every option you could have taken actually happens, just in a different universe. So right now, at this very moment, there's a version of you that quit your job and started that business. There's a version of you that moved to that other city, or stayed with that partner, or made that difficult decision you've been avoiding. They're all you. Now here's the spiritual connection. In the Vedantic tradition, this multiverse isn't random. It's orchestrated by a higher intelligence, what they call Ishvara, or the cosmic consciousness. The Mandukya Upanishad speaks of Turiya, a state of pure consciousness that transcends all individual experiences. This is the space where all possibilities exist simultaneously. Dr. David Chalmers, a leading philosopher of mind, has called consciousness the hard problem. We can't explain why physical processes in the brain produce subjective experience. But the ancient Vedantins would say, you're looking at it backward. Consciousness isn't produced by the brain is produced by consciousness. As a comparative analysis of Vedanta puts it, consciousness itself is the Atman. Absolute consciousness itself has become the world of multiplicity, yet it does not become those multiple selves that are only gross and subtle layers of consciousness. Consciousness is the container, the context, the hard drive. The brain is just a receiver. Okay, so there are multiple dimensions. There are other versions of you making different choices. There's a higher consciousness connecting it all. So what does this mean for your daily life? How does this knowledge help you deal with the stress of work, the anxiety of decision-making, the fear of failure? Let me give you 3 practical takeaways. First, your regrets are meaningless. I mean that in the most liberating way possible. If every possible choice you could have made exists somewhere in the multiverse, then there's no wrong choice. There's just the choice you made in this timeline, and that's exactly what you needed to experience. So stop torturing yourself with what-ifs. What if you'd taken that job? What if you'd said yes to that person? What if you'd followed your dream? In another universe he did. So, let go of the regret, and commit to making the most of this life, right now. Second, your suffering has purpose. The Upanishads teach that we are subject to avidya, the illusion of separateness, for a reason. Sri Aurobindo explains that the ego created by avidya is a necessary mechanism for affirming individuality in the universal. In other words, you needed to forget you're part of the whole so you could experience the thrill of being an individual. Suffering, loneliness, anxiety, these are part of the dramaturgical field. They're plot points in your soul's journey. But when you start to wake up to the unity behind it all, you can experience peace, even in the middle of chaos. Third, start a daily practice of witnessing. Here's a simple 5-minute practice you can do every day. Sit quietly and observe your thoughts. Don't judge them, don't cling to them, just watch them. This is what the Upanishads call the cultivation of vidya, the consciousness of unity. By witnessing your thoughts, you begin to see that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. You are the screen, not the movie. As you develop this practice, you'll find that the stress of your daily life starts to feel less personal. You'll be able to observe your challenges without being consumed by them, because you're beginning to recognize that you're playing a role, and the true you, the Atman, is always free. Let's bring this full circle. The Vedas and Upanishads tell us that we are not isolated, disconnected beings struggling to survive in a cold and different universe. We are expressions of a single, infinite consciousness, playing out infinite possibilities across infinite dimensions. Science in its own way is beginning to confirm this. Quantum physics shows us that observation creates reality. String theory and the many worlds interpretation point toward a multiverse of parallel realities. Neuroscience still can't explain how consciousness emerges from matter, maybe because it's the other way around. The ancient sages would say that the multiverse isn't just a physical reality, it's a spiritual one. It's the cosmic stage where the drama of individual consciousness learns to rediscover its unity. Every choice you make, every success, every failure, every joy, every heartbreak, is a scene in that cosmic drama. So the question isn't, is there a multiverse? The question is, what universe are you choosing to live in right now? Because if every possibility exists somewhere, then the choice of which possibility to actualize is in your hands. In this moment, in this life. So, what do you think? Is your consciousness just brain activity, or is it part of something infinite? Are there really other versions of you out there, making different choices? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. If this video expanded your perspective, please hit the like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're ready to go deeper, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next video. Thank you for watching Nature and Soul. In our next video, we'll explore what quantum physics has to say about the soul's journey after death. You won't want to miss it. Until then, remember, you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop.